Hi, this is Summer, the Arabic interpreter.
Thank you, Summer. We'll get started in a minute.
Okay.
Welcome to Let's Talk Tech. Tonight, we have interpretation in 5 languages: Arabic, Korean, Russian, Spanish, and Vietnamese. We will go ahead and introduce our interpreters and provide some instructions on how to access the language interpretation feature before we start with our program. Next slide. And next slide. For interpretation services, when that feature will be launched in a minute, you will see a small globe at the bottom of your screen that says interpretation. Click that globe and select English if you're an English speaker. All attendees must select an English a channel, including all presenters and panelists. So please select English if you speak English. We are going to repeat these instructions in all 4 languages. Starting with Ben in Spanish, please.
Servicios de interpretación. Hay servicios de interpretación disponibles al español. Pulse en el icono interpretación, el pequeño globo ubicado al pie de la pantalla y seleccione español. Todos los asistentes deben seleccionar un canal de audio.
Thank you. Now we go to Summer and to the next slide, please.
أهلا بكم جميعا. أنا اسمي سمر، هكون مترجمة اللغة العربية اليوم. عايزة أعرفكم إن في علامة للكرة الأرضية في أسفل الشاشة. ممكن تضغط عليها وتختار اللغة العربية، أو ممكن تختار اللغة الإسبانية أو اللغة الإنجليزية لو أنت مش محتاج أي ترجمة، بس ضروري تكون بتختار قناة سمعية النهاردة عشان تكون بتشارك في الاجتماع الخاص بينا. بنرحب بالجميع ويا ريت تختاروا لغة علشان هننتقل لحجرة مختلفة هيكون فيها ترجمة فورية. شكرا.
Thank you. And Tisita for Amharic.
እንደምናመሻችሁ ለዛሬው ፕሮግራም የትርጉም አገልግሎት አለ። ከስር የምትመለከቱትን በቀይ ቀስት ያለውን የምልክት ነክታችሁ የዓለም ምልክቱን ስትነኩ ኢንተርፕሪቴሽን የሚለውን ስትነኩ የትርጉም አገልግሎት ታገኛላችሁ። እንግሊዘኛም ከሆነ ያንን መንካት አለባችሁ፣ አማርኛም ከሆነ ያንን መንካት አለባችሁ። አመሰግናለሁ።
Thank you. And next slide, please. And then we'll go with Min for Vietnamese.
Tôi là thông dịch viên của Edmond School District. Hôm nay chúng mình sẽ nói về chuyện về kỹ thuật, về gặp phải các vấn đề học trong trường và về mục đích kỹ thuật. Khi quý vị thấy cái hình trái địa cầu ở dưới màn hình thì quý vị bấm vào cái hình trái địa cầu đó để mà có được thông dịch viên bằng tiếng Việt, cái kênh tiếng Việt cho tối hôm nay. Xin cảm ơn quý vị.
Thank you. And Young-sing for Korean.
안녕하세요. 한국어 통역 서비스를 받으시려면은 화면 그 밑에 하단에 있는 인터프리테이션 그리고 거기 지구 모양으로 된 아이콘이 있습니다. 그거를 클릭하시면은 그 원하는 그 한국어 통역을 받으실 수가 있어요. 예, 감사합니다. I'm done. Thank you.
Thank you. And now I would like to give everyone a second while we start that interpretation feature and everyone to choose their channels. Now, I'd like to introduce our district superintendent, Dr. Gustavo Valderas, for our land acknowledgement.
Acknowledge the original inhabitants of this place, the Snohomish people and their successors, the Tulalip tribes, who since time immemorial have taken care of, hunted, fished, and gathered on these lands. We respect their sovereignty, their right to self-determination, and we honor their sacred spiritual connection with the land and water. By acknowledging these homelands, we are also committing to work with the tribal nations in our area to further the education aims that they have identified in our classrooms and in our schools. Really want to thank everybody for being on tonight, and truly appreciate the staff, the interpreters, and as well as, again, people that are on our community meeting here. And we hope to have these community meetings ongoing in the future to provide our patrons information to help them understand the workings of our district, which sometimes can be complicated if you're new to the district, a new parent. Again, and we hope that these are meaningful for you. And we went to a remote model because it makes it easier for some families to be able to access. And we hope to have a mixed model next year where we have both in person and also virtual. But tonight's meeting really is about technology and our phenomenal technology staff that is coming on the screen right now, led by our wonderful director, Chris Bailey. So I'm going to turn it over to Chris, I believe, next, and maybe Harmony, and also our wonderful communications director, Harmony Weinberg, who does a phenomenal job for us. And Harmony, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Balderas, and thank you everyone for joining tonight. We do want to let you know that we are streaming this live on YouTube, and it'll also be recorded. So we encourage people to go back and watch it and share this webinar with friends, because we think you're going to get a lot out of it tonight. So again, thank you so much for being here. Right now, I want to introduce our panelists. So tonight we have Chris Bailey, who is our technology director. We have Jason Alod, who is our library and instructional technology manager, and Sean Schaefer, who is our information systems manager. So they are going to walk us through some exciting things about all things tech. So I'm going to hand it over to Chris Bailey.
Thank you very much, Harmony, and good evening. I want to thank everyone for being here tonight, and just wanted to briefly share the topics that we'll be discussing. Sean's going to talk with us a bit about Skyward. We're also going to talk about student safety and digital citizenship. And then lastly, Jason is going to share the learning management systems that the district uses and how families can get connected with them. With that, I'll turn it over to Sean.
Me back up there. Apparently, I have to mute yourself, huh? Right. All right. Thank you, Chris. And thanks to all of you for sharing your time with us this evening. As our first topic, let's review this thing called Skyward and what it can do for you. So Skyward is Edmond School District's student information system. Skyward stores our student education records. This includes student demographics, family information, as well as academic history. It provides a means for enrolling students, tracking attendance, managing food service records, grading and tracking grad requirements, as well as recording discipline, health, and other information. Skyward also provides portals for parents and students to review this information. And beyond it being a student information system, it also includes business and human resources components to it for our business services and human resources departments. Beyond what's done inside of the Skyward software, it also acts as a source for connecting and feeding to other systems. So for example, it will help build classes and create accounts for our learning management systems, Canvas and Seesaw. And it will also help in the process of building Google accounts for our students and staff. So what can Skyward do for you? Let's take a tour. So the first question you might ask, how do I get access to Skyward? So if you are enrolling your student into a school, after the enrollment process is complete, you should receive an email. That email should have a link to help you get set up with family access. Now, if you don't have that email, or you're just, you need to be able to get access to it through an alternative means, then you would contact your school, your student's school, and they would be able to set up family access for you. So once you have that username and login, or username and password for your login, then the easiest thing to do is to come to our district site. And from our district site, you would see this icon down here that says Skyward, and you just click on that, and it would launch our Skyward login page. You'd enter your username and password, click sign in, and that would gain you access into family access. So I am going to jump in as a parent and show you what you can do with inside family access. All right, so within family access, the first thing you want to be aware of is the option here that says all students. So right now it says all students. I am seeing all the information for all the children in my family. If I wanted to focus on one particular student or child in my family, I could click the drop down, and then I could choose the student. In this case, maybe I choose Anna. At this point, I can see information on the main page here, different notices from Anna's school, from the district, about different things happening within Skyward. Maybe some forms that I need to complete, or activity that's going on within the school. So it's a good thing to review this information and see if there's any actions that you need to take as a parent or guardian. So over on the left, we can start reviewing information and taking certain actions. So the first one is we can enroll a student into a school. So if you already have a student in a school, and maybe you have a second child that's going into kindergarten, you can use this option to jump out to our online enrollment platform and go through the process of uploading all of the necessary information and getting your student enrolled. Next, you can update your student and family information. So I'd click on there and choose my student. And we ask that you review this information on an annual basis, update your contact information or review it, and let the district know if you need to update it, update your military family status, your student's health information, things like that. So let's kind of walk through these because there are a couple of areas I want to point out. So over here on the right is this step process. You can step through the different pages of information and take action. So the first one is student information. And so on the student information tab on the page, we can review our student's name and their date of birth, their languages, phone numbers. And if there's anything that needs to be changed that is in this gray shaded box, then we'll need to contact the school and let them know it needs to be updated. For the areas that are in these white shaded, we can update those ourselves. So if I wanted to add a second phone, I could do this. Edmond School District right now is on a campaign to meet a state requirement to update all of the students' ethnicity and race categories. And there's been a communication sent out on this endeavor to families. And this is the place where you would go ahead and do that. So for my student, if I wanted to go ahead and select a ethnicity category for Anna here, I would click on select an ethnicity. And then I would choose the applicable category. You can choose multiple categories under Hispanic. If you choose non-Hispanic Latino, it'd be the only option available. Click save. And then I can do the same thing for the state race. Go ahead and select a race. And that'll open up a box here where I can select all the applicable race categories. A parent asked me, you know, my student is 25% Hispanic. What do I choose? And I said, whatever you feel like you should choose, because really there is no wrong answer. It's anything you choose is applicable. So that's what the district is asking, requesting of you to help us in assigning these ethnicity and race categories. And it's just that simple to check those or select those categories and then click either the option to complete the step or complete that step and move on to the next step. And so we invite you to go ahead and walk through all these different areas where you can update or review your family information, such as your emergency contact, as well as acknowledging Edmond School District's attendance policy. You can also verify your military family status. For secondary schools, you can view your Sky Alert information. That is the information that connects to School Messenger, which is our mass communication tool. You can also update your students' health information, completing a form just by clicking Add. You can also apply for meal benefits, or you can choose the option to say that I do not qualify for benefits or do not wish to complete an application. And that would give information to the district on whether or not to continue to inform you of your options. And then there is an option here that will link you out to the district's site to allow you to take advantage of our affordable connectivity program. So again, we'd ask you to step through these and complete the actions. If you have questions on them, please contact your school. Now, we've had a couple of questions since we launched the campaign on the ethnicity and race, where students have already completed this section for the year. And so just to give you an example of that, I completed it for my son, Sam. So this is what would show up if you've already completed that section. And what I would do to open it back up is I'd click on this link, mark student family information update as not completed, and make changes. So I click on that link, and now I have access to these areas. I want to go back and update my students' ethnicity and race categories. I click on student information. And then the key thing here is to click on edit step 1A. That'll open up that page again. And that's when I can go ahead and update my race and ethnicity categories. And then I just click complete step 1A only again, and I'd be done with that update. All right. So the next tab is online forms. And what I want to point out here is that we actually have a form that we'd like you to consider filling out, which is the Securely Parent Portal form. And Jason is going to talk more about or present more about Securely in an upcoming segment. But this is where you'd go to go ahead and get registered, set up for Securely. And then we have a calendar tab, which would give you the ability to see all calendar activities at your student's school. And for the sake of time, I'm just going to kind of breeze through a couple others and we'll move on to the next subject. But just want to point out you can see your students' grades and you can see your students' attendance. As well as you can see busing information, food service information. You can see graduation requirements and how your student is doing and completing those. You can access report cards and other testing information and download that information to your own local machines. So this is what Family Access has to offer. Again, we invite you to explore Family Access. And this is the desktop version. Let me quickly jump over to the mobile version. So what you're seeing on your screen is a simulation of the mobile version. You would do this on your smart device, on your phone. And you can see similar information by clicking on the menu button in the top right corner. You can see your activities and attendance. Most information that you saw on the desktop is also available in mobile access. One thing I do want to highlight under attendance is a feature that is coming soon to a school near you. And that is the ability to add an absence request via Skyward. So instead of calling or sending a note, you can go in through Skyward and add an absence request. So click on add an absence request. And let's say my daughter is going to be out tomorrow for an appointment. I can go ahead and choose the date. And I can unselect this all day option. That'll give me access to the times. And I can see when she made back to school. And choose a reason. And give a comment. Hopefully something more serious than my comment. And then that request is actually submitted to the school's office and they'll review it and they'll either approve it or contact you if they see something that needs to be updated. You will get confirmation once it's submitted. And you can also see the status of it in this view right here. So that's a brief tour of Skyward Family Access. We do have information, references for your viewing pleasure. Just go out to our website and go to Families and then select Skyward Family Access. And then you'll have a page, multiple tabs to review different content and some of the instructions we talked about this evening. All right. As our second topic, we wanted to share the district's student data privacy practices and some recommendations for you keeping your students' information safe. So grounded in federal and state laws, as well as board policy, Edmund staff aim to protect student information. We hope to extend these practices within our community so student data is safe beyond the walls of our schools. So what is being protected? We're protecting our students' educational records. So these educational records are these individual records maintained by the school district or an agent that can identify individual information, such as personal information, names, date of birth, addresses, grades, test scores, health records, attendance records, anything directly related to a student. So what Edmonds School District does to protect these records are many different things. It first starts with the people that we employ. We want to employ people that certainly have integrity, have a mindset, and care for protecting our students in many ways, including their presence online and safeguarding their information. Once we have those folks on board, we will continually train them in cybersecurity. And that is an ongoing effort that we do here at Edmonds. We also have built a network that also protects our students' information. It has monitoring capabilities so that we can keep alert of things happening within our schools. We also ensure that for our critical systems, like Google, like Skyward, that we have password protected accounts. And that we're also using appropriate password practices, using passwords that are unique as well as private. We also are endeavoring to implement multi-factor authentication. And that's a big phrase. What that means is that we're asking staff for our critical systems, like our Google suites, to not only put in a password, but also use another form of authentication, which would be using their device, their phone, to grant access, and also a key fob, a USB key. That may be a little techie, but again, it's supposed to make our systems more secure and protect our students' information. We also ensure that school service providers, these include our online digital tools and hosted services like Canvas, like Seesaw, are exhibiting appropriate security and practices. And we also establish data privacy agreements or obtain parental consent for those systems where we share educational records. So what can you do? You can instill good practices with your children. Encourage them to use unique and private passwords. Even for the younger children, you can use a simple convention like red cat or blue dog, putting simple words together. Great way to practice spelling. Also, safeguarding devices. So if a student walks away from their computer, their laptop, make sure they lock their screens, as well as being aware of others that are around them. If they're spying on the student, make sure that they can tell that person to stop spying, as they're, that way that protects their information. So really instilling that ability to say, your personal information is important to you and to your parents and everybody else. If they see personal information, show restraint and not exposing it to others. Set a good example within their peer group. The other thing, if you observe or suspect there's a compromise in student information, please contact your school. Please let us know. We want to partner with you in investigating the situation and ensure that we remedy it as soon as possible. You can also learn more about your rights as parents and guardians. You can opt out of directory information being disclosed. You can review student records. You can request amendments to those student records. You can even let the U.S. Department know if you feel like your rights have been violated. And finally, you can use district provider resources, such as Securely, which again, Jason will present in an upcoming segment. So be aware of those district provider resources that you can take advantage of. With that, I'm going to hand it over to Chris, who's going to talk a bit more about our student passwords.
Thank you, Sean. I wanted to briefly highlight something that Sean spoke about. We provide students accounts to a number of different systems, and it's important to us that their passwords are secure. We've recently communicated with school staff about the importance that all students have a custom and unique password and are not relying on a default password that is set by the district. You can help us to reinforce the importance of this by checking in with your student to ensure that they are not using a default password. This graphic represents a good practice when it comes to setting a password. I also wanted to briefly highlight several tools that can be helpful for managing Chromebooks at home. The first is simply to ask questions. Check in with your student. See how things are going, what problems they are having. Talk with your school about any questions or concerns that you might have. And we do have technology staff available to support students and families as well. So you are always welcome to reach out to us. In addition, we recommend that each family establish rules for Chromebook use within their home. This could include things such as keeping Chromebooks in a public area and not in a bedroom with the door closed. It may also include family rules about when it's appropriate to use a Chromebook, or limits on how much recreational use is okay in your home. We encourage you to talk with your student and establish rules that make sense for you. Lastly, Securely Home is a tool that Jason's going to provide a demo of that really gives parents and families great visibility into the activities that students are participating in online. And I strongly encourage each of you to consider getting yourself signed up for this great asset. Jason, take it away.
Great. Thank you so much, Chris. I really appreciate that. And also thank you, Sean. And thank you everyone for being here tonight. I just want to walk through a demo of the Securely Home system. But before we do that, I want you to know that Securely Home is a free feature that's included with our school's filter purchase. It gives you control over your child's school device when it goes home. This includes web filtering, site restrictions, and monitored screen time. Earlier, Sean mentioned how you could sign up for Securely Home in Skyward. Once you fill out the form in Skyward, you'll get an email that will direct you to click a link and allow you to view Securely. Securely has an app that works on Android and iOS devices. And I find it, as a parent of 2 students in this school district, the easiest method for monitoring their web activity. And with that, if we want to advance the slide. And I recorded a demo earlier to walk us through using the app. Hello and welcome. In this video, we'll talk about how to navigate the Securely Home app. So here we see the Securely Home dashboard, where you can tap to see different things, such as the activity feed, flagged activity, and make rules for your student at home. Here is our activity feed. we see all of the websites that the student has visited, and we can go way back and look at many different sites from weeks and weeks ago if we need to. If you'd like to visit any of these sites to see what the student was seeing or trying to see, you can tap on the three dots, and that will either copy the website address or hello and welcome. In this video, we'll talk about how to navigate the Securely Home app. So here we see the Securely Home dashboard, where you can tap to see different things, such as the activity feed, flagged activity, and make rules for your student at home. Here is our activity feed. We see all of the websites that the student has visited, and we can go way back and look at many different sites from weeks and weeks ago if we need to. If you'd like to visit any of these sites to see what the student was seeing or trying to see, you can tap on the three dots, and that will either copy the website address or it'll allow you to actually visit the site. Now, going back, we can select Flagged Activity. Flagged Activity will show us the things that were concerning to view, or that your student may have viewed, like negative sentiments, grief, self-harm, and bullying. So any of these things that got picked up by the Securely filter, you'd be able to see here. To go back, we click the back arrow, and then we'll land back on the dashboard. Now let's tap Rules. Rules allows you to add filter rules for your students at home. So tap on the student's name and tap Allow Block Lists. When we do that, we'll be able to enter a website's name such as YouTube. We'll type that here and then hit return or enter, and now youtube.com is blocked for your student at home. If you change your mind and decide to unblock it, just tap the X away. Then tap the back arrow. We can also look at and block different categories. We'll see by default that things like social media and chat and messaging are blocked, but webmail and health are unblocked. If you decide to change that, you can tap those and make them blocked. Down below, there are some categories that cannot be unblocked. To get back, again, we tap the back arrow, and then we can tap Search and Video to have some more broad categories that we can either block or unblock. And once again, there are some that cannot be changed. We'll tap the back arrow to head back, and then we tap the back arrow again. That's most of everything, but you'll notice there is a menu in the top left with the same navigable options, but also if you tap on the account icon, you can manage your notifications or reset passwords there, and we also see there's an FAQ section. Let's go back home. That is the general tour of the Securely app. Thank you so much for watching, and goodbye. That's great, thank you. We can advance the next slide. Thank you, Sean. So I saw a question in the Q&A as to whether Securely allows for controlled hours, when the Chromebook is at home. And I will have to do some researching on that. I haven't put in that for my own kids, but it may be a feature that's available, and I can look into that later. For now, let's talk about the two learning management systems that we use here in the Edmonds School District. For grades 3 through 12, we use Canvas. And Canvas is a web-based learning management system, which is often abbreviated as LMS. It is used by learning institutions across the country, educators, and students to access and manage online course learning materials and communicate about skill development and learning achievement. Seesaw is the system that we use for grades pre-K through 2. Seesaw is a digital app-based platform that allows students, teachers, and parents or guardians to complete and share classroom work. It also has excellent communication features. I recorded a few videos to demonstrate how to use these systems at home. So let's go ahead and advance to the next slide. And in this first video, it walks us through how to get what's called an observer account. Getting an observer account will allow you to see what upcoming assignments your student has, the scores on completed assignments, and whether or not assignments are late. Let's go ahead and play the video. Hello and welcome. In this video, we're going to walk through all the steps for creating a parent observer account so you can monitor your student's activity in Canvas. This will be a two-part video. The first part will show how your student will get the parent observer pairing code that you can use to observe your student. First, you'll need to have your student navigate to the Canvas homepage and sign in. We'll do that now. Once your student signs into Canvas, direct them to click on the account icon in the top left corner. From here, they'll click Settings. On the right-hand side, you'll see a button that says Pair with Observer. Have them click that. This will create a one-time use pairing code. Be sure to write it down on a piece of paper. You'll notice that it is case sensitive in that there are lowercase letters and uppercase letters. This code will expire after 7 days or after you use it once. If there's 2 parent observers in the family, we'll need to take this action twice. In this part of the video, we're on a mobile device with the Google Chrome app opened. What we'll need to do is type the website or the URL of the Edmonds Canvas site here, which is edmonds15.instructure.com, and then navigate to that site. Once you're there, look for where it says Parent of a Canvas User and tap Create Account. Once you tap Create Account, the parent sign-up will come up. Enter your name, your email address, and create a password that you can use to access the site later. You'll need to enter the password twice. Now, you'll get the student pairing code that you got from your student earlier. Be sure that you are using case-sensitive letters. In other words, if it's a lowercase letter or a capital letter, be sure that reflects that in the way you type the code. You'll agree to the terms of use and service, and then click Start Participating. This isn't going to let me in because I invented this email, and apparently it's already in use. But if the email had been accepted, you'd be brought into the Canvas system. You'd be able to see your students' classes, and you could start monitoring assignments and their due dates. That's how you set up the Canvas Parent Observer account. Thank you so much for watching, and goodbye. Thank you very much. We can advance to the next slide. Hello, and actually, if we can pause the video for just a second. How to change. Thank you. So one quirk of Canvas is that using it as a parent, it's very helpful to use the parent app, the Canvas parent app. Unfortunately, with the app, you're not able to change language settings. And so I made this video to demonstrate how to change language settings in Canvas once you've got an observer account using your phone's mobile web browser. So in this case, I'm using Google Chrome, but any mobile browser would work. Safari would work, but you can't use the Canvas app to change language settings. Okay, Sean. Here's the language setting. Hello and welcome. In this video, we're going to look at how to change the language settings in Canvas. First, it's important to note that you cannot change language settings in the Canvas app. You must do this on the mobile web browser or on a computer. So here I'm on the mobile Google Chrome browser. You'll need to start by typing in the Canvas website for the Edmonds School District. The website for Canvas in the Edmonds School District is edmonds15.instructure.com. You'll need to have set up a Canvas account first, but once you have that information, you can type in your username and password here. I'll do that now. Once you type in that information, you can tap Log In, and you'll be signed into your Canvas account. Tap on the menu in the top left corner, the one that's marked with 3 lines. Then, tap on Account and tap on Settings. You'll need to scroll to the very bottom of the page, all the way down, and then tap Edit Settings. Click away from there and then tap the language setting. It's set as English by default. From here, you'll have a list of languages that you can select. Select the language that makes the most sense for you. Once you do that, you'll need to scroll down and click Update Settings. It's very important that you tap Update Settings. Once you do that, the language will be changed on any device when you log into Canvas. Thank you so much for watching, and goodbye. All right, thank you. We can move to the next slide. And one more video on Canvas, because I thought we might like to see how the app looks and how that functions differently than viewing Canvas on the mobile browser. Hello, in this video, we'll explore the Canvas Parent app. When you first log in, you'll see a list of classes your students enrolled in. If you tap one, you'll see the grades that students have gotten when they've turned in assignments. Here's a long list of assignments with some of the scores. If I tap one of the assignments, I'll be shown a few more details, but it's important to note that you cannot see the assignment on the Parent app. Now we go back and we see the list of courses. In this list of courses, we can tap on another one. Here we tap on PE. We can see a total grade here because this teacher hasn't hidden the total grade. Again, I can tap an assignment, but I cannot see the assignment. Now we'll look at the menu. We have an inbox. Most teachers don't use the Canvas inbox for communication. When we go back, we can also manage students. If we have more than one student, we can view the other students' courses. Here is the calendar. We can look at the events occurring on the day and the assignments that are due. And here are the alerts. We notice that there's nothing that we're notified about now. Back in the course, we can also see the front web page of the Canvas class that will have information that might be useful. Finally, we can click on the modules link and see the modules where the teacher may have assignments organized. Thank you so much for watching this video about the Canvas Parent app, and goodbye. Thank you. We can advance. Excellent. Hello and welcome. Thank you. So one more demo, and it's on the Seesaw app, which is the learning management system that we use for pre-K through 2nd grade, and we can run that now. Hello and welcome. In this video, we'll discuss navigating the Seesaw Family app. In Seesaw, your child's teacher will enter your email address into the system, and you'll get an email from Seesaw asking you to accept the invitation. Once you do, you can download the app, and then you'll be connected to your student and their work. When you first open the app, you'll land on the home screen, which shows a quick overview of the most recent post. To see other classes, tap the Journals button at the bottom center of the screen, and you'll see all the students associated with your account. To look at the work in those accounts, tap the student's name and it will open the course. Here's a course from a couple of years ago. I can tap on the name of the course and it'll open to show all of the students' work. Here's a view of all of the students' work. You're able to see all the work they've done and all of the things they've posted, including drawings they've done in the system, photos they've taken, videos they've made, and these are all available for you to view. In some cases, you're also able to comment on the student's work as well, or like the student's work. Let's go back up to the feed, and to go back, you just tap the back arrow in the top left corner. To see another student, just tap on that student's name, and you'll see that work there too. Going back into this class, we're also able to see a calendar view by tapping the calendar icon near the top left corner. You can scroll through the entire year and tap on a date to see the work that your student has completed that day. To go back out of calendar view, just tap the arrow in the top left corner. Finally, you'll notice an inbox button in the lower right-hand corner of the screen. This is where messages from your child's teacher will appear. You could also see notifications on the top right that go out to the entire class. And then back to messages. That's it for navigating the Seesaw app. Thank you so much for watching.
Thanks for running that video, Sean.
And goodbye. Hello and welcome.
We can advance to
In
the
this
next
video,
slide.
we'll discuss navigating the Seesaw.
Thank you. So that's a brief tour of the two different LMS systems. One thing that I don't know if I mentioned earlier is that for Seesaw, there's really no action that you need to do as a parent to enroll. Your child's teacher will put information into the system. Then you'll get an email from Seesaw that you can click and then see the activities. And Seesaw automatically translates based on the language you've set on your device. So no need to worry about changing language settings in Seesaw. If we can go to the next slide now. Excellent, thank you. So in Edmonds, we try to teach digital citizen, well, we do teach digital citizenship at every grade level, starting in kindergarten. And digital citizenship is the ability to engage positively, critically, and competently in the digital environment, drawing on the skills of effective communication and creation to practice forms of social participation that are respectful of human rights and dignity through the responsible use of technology. The curriculum that we use to teach digital citizenship is from Common Sense Education. Common Sense Education offers a variety of lessons, about one lesson per month for all classroom teachers to teach. And we've developed a district progression to ensure that all the topics of digital citizenship are covered from kindergarten through 12th grade. We also educate our staff on proper digital cybersecurity by having everyone go through required cybersecurity training. In addition to the resources that we teach students, Common Sense Education also has family resources that are available for you to use with your own students. They have such things as rule setting, topics of conversation, and just generally keeping your students engaged and you aware of your students' internet activity. I think just given the time, we'll go ahead and pass this on to Harmony so we can answer some of the questions that have come up in the Q&A. Yeah, there's a look at the Common Sense Education website.
All right, thank you, Jason. And if I could just ask all the panelists to turn their cameras on. We appreciate everyone coming tonight. We had some questions in the Q&A that we were able to answer through chat. So thank you for those questions. We really appreciate the feedback. This was our first tech webinar that we've had in this capacity, and we really are planning to do more, especially as we get closer and start the school year. So we appreciate those who came tonight and the feedback we've received. Our goal is that families are engaged and understand all the technology that the district is using. So right now, I'm going to go ahead and hand it back to Dr. Balderas to close us out.
Thanks, Harmony, and I really appreciate all the great information this evening. And again, as stated earlier, we're going to be having more of these in both in-person and remote setting once the new year starts. But again, really thankful for the parent recommendation to have this tonight and look forward to future events. So thank you.